What a game we just witnessed at Goodison Park, folks. In a tale of two halves that had everything: goals, controversy, stunning individual brilliance, and a dramatic VR decision. Everton and Manchester United played out an enthralling 2-2 draw that perfectly encapsulates the unpredictable nature of Premier League football. Let's dive into this match, and I have to start with Everton's transformation under David Moyes. It's remarkable how quickly he's changed this team's fortunes. The Toffees are playing with a freedom that we haven't seen in years, and it's fascinating to hear the players themselves talk about the difference between Moyes and his predecessors. They're moving the ball with pace, purpose, and most importantly, confidence. Speaking of confidence, let's talk about Beto. What a revelation he's been recently. This is a striker who had just 4 goals in 44 games before his current hot streak, and now he's banged in 5 in his last 4 matches. His goal today was a perfect example of striker's instinct, getting himself back onside after initially being in an offside position, and then capitalizing on some absolutely calamitous defending from Manchester United. The finish itself was clinical, keeping it low after bouncing it on the turf, beating the goalkeeper, and showing the kind of composure that comes with confidence. And you can see where that confidence is coming from. There's a genuine love affair brewing between him and the Goodison faithful. The first half was all Everton, and I mean all Everton. They were playing in what looked like a 4-3-3 formation, but it was the energy and intensity that really set them apart. Idrissa Gueye. My word, what a performance from the 35-year-old. He was channeling his inner N'Golo Kanté out there, breaking up play, intercepting passes, and completely dominating the midfield battle. It's almost impossible to believe he's 35 when you watch him cover that much ground with such intensity. That intensity led to Everton's second goal, and what a goal it was from Abdoulaye Doucouré. This is what coaches mean when they talk about following up shots. Harrison's initial effort was well saved by Onana, but Doucouré didn't stand around admiring the shot. He anticipated, he moved, and most impressively, he timed his jump perfectly to beat Harry Maguire to the ball. It's these little details that make the difference at this level, and Doucouré's reading of the situation was absolutely spot on. The stats at the 35-minute mark were damning for United. 4 shots and 2 goals for Everton, while United hadn't registered a single attempt. Poor Rasmus Højlund must have been wondering what he needs to do to get service up there. The only bright spark for United in that first half was Dorgu down the left, combining well with Bruno Fernandes and trying his best to create something, anything, for his team. Let me paint you a picture of just how dramatic this turnaround has been under Moyes. Everton had the worst conversion rate in the league before his arrival, and now they're sitting at the top of those statistics. They've won 4 of their last 5 matches, and they're playing with a swagger that seemed unimaginable just a few months ago. This first half performance wasn't just about Everton's excellence, though. It was also about United's concerning lack of first half goals. Would you believe they've now scored just once in the first half of their last 14 games? That's a statistic that should be setting off alarm bells at Old Trafford. Let me take you into that second half and what a dramatic shift we witnessed. United came out looking like a completely different team. They had to, really, because that first half performance was about as poor as it gets. But the real catalyst for change came through 2 key elements: the introduction of Alejandro Garnacho and, more significantly, Bruno Fernandes dropping into a deeper position. Let's talk about that Bruno Fernandes free kick that sparked United's comeback. Now, I've got to be a bit critical of Jordan Pickford here. His weight shift to the right just before the ball was struck gave Bruno that extra space on the left side of the goal. It's the kind of small detail that makes all the difference at this level. And Bruno, being the quality player he is, spotted it and executed perfectly. But this goal also highlights a recurring theme for United: their reliance on individual brilliance to bail them out of difficult situations. The impact of Bruno dropping deeper cannot be overstated. Sure, you lose some of his goal threat when he's not playing further forward, but the way he dictates play from that deeper position transforms United's entire approach. The tempo increases, The passes become more incisive, and suddenly you've got players like Garnacho making those penetrating runs in behind. It's fascinating how one tactical tweak can completely change the complexion of a match. And then we got that equalizer from Ugarte. What a moment. The sequence started with another brilliant Fernandes free kick. And after Beto's clearance, Ugarte showed exceptional technique, taking it on his chest, letting it sit up perfectly, and then unleashing a strike that gave Pickford no chance. The momentum had completely shifted by this point, and you could feel the nervous energy starting to build around Goodison Park. The final 15 minutes were absolutely breathless. United were pushing for a winner, with Bruno at the heart of everything. There was that magnificent nutmeg followed by a perfect cross. The powerful strike that forced a fantastic save from Pickford. He was everywhere. It's remarkable how one player can have such a profound impact on a team's performance. But the real drama was still to come in those final minutes. That penalty shout for Everton in the 92nd minute. Let's break this down because it's a fascinating piece of officiating. Ashley Young goes down under pressure from Dissect, and in real time, it looked like a stonewall penalty. Onana's parry into a dangerous area had created the chaos, and Delict's tug on Young seemed clear enough. But after what felt like an eternity of VR review, the referee changed his original decision. The explanation given was that the contact wasn't sufficient. But I've got to say, I've seen those given plenty of times before. The frantic nature of those final minutes perfectly encapsulated what had been a magnificent second half of football. Both teams had chances to win it. Both teams were pushing until the very end, and neither team really deserved to lose. That's the beauty of football, isn't it? Sometimes a draw can be just as entertaining as a win or loss. For Everton, this result continues their impressive run under David Moyes. And I think we need to take a moment to appreciate just how significant their transformation has been. They're now sitting 14 points clear of the relegation zone, a position that seemed almost unthinkable just a few months ago. The freedom in their play, the confidence in their movement, and most importantly, the belief among the players is palpable. They're not just picking up points, they're playing genuinely attractive football. Their first half performance today was a masterclass in how to approach a game against a bigger team. The energy levels were through the roof, the pressing was coordinated and intense, and they showed absolutely no fear. When you look at players like Gay, who at 35 was running the midfield like a player 10 years younger, it really emphasizes the impact Moyes has had on this squad's mentality. For Manchester United, though, this result raises more questions than answers. Yes, the comeback showed character. Yes, the second half performance demonstrated what they're capable of. But why does it take going 2 goals down to see that level of intensity and quality? The contrast between their first and second half performances was stark, and it's becoming a recurring theme that they only seem to play their best football when they're backed into a corner. The Bruno Fernandes deeper role is something that deserves more attention. When he dropped those extra 10 yards in the second half, we saw a completely different United team. The ball was moving faster, the decisions were sharper, and suddenly they looked like a team with a clear plan. It's a tactical adjustment that might be worth exploring from the start of matches, rather than as a reaction to going behind. Looking ahead, United need to find a way to start games with the same intensity they showed in that second half. The talent is clearly there. We saw it in those final 30 minutes, but consistency remains their biggest challenge. If they can replicate that second half performance from the first whistle, they've got the quality to climb back up the table. For Everton, the future looks increasingly bright. They can now focus on pushing up the table rather than looking over their shoulders. The way they're playing under Moyes suggests they could finish the season strong and potentially set themselves up for a much more positive campaign next year. What this match really showed us is the fine margins in Premier League football. 2 teams, both with periods of dominance, both showing what they're capable of at their best, and both probably feeling they could have won it. That's what makes this league so special. The unpredictability, the drama, and the sheer quality of football when teams really click. Whether it was Beto's clinical finishing, Gay's ageless energy in midfield, Bruno's magical free kick, or Ugarte's stunning equalizer. This match had moments that will live long in the memory. It's these kinds of games that remind us why we love football: the drama, the tactical battles, the individual brilliance, and those moments of controversy that keep us debating long after the final whistle. This has been Across the Pitch, over and out.